染めてください君に送る愛の歌が届くように瞳凝らしてください長い髪をたなびかせて降りてゆきます10年は夢のよう100年は夢また夢1000年は一瞬の光の矢過ぎてく時間は怖くない輝きを失うことが嫌なのです
And welcome to the Red Leaf Retrocast. It's the anime edition. It's episode 96. Whoa. Good God. I'm your host, JD. We've done 96 of these. Tori, Hickey, how you doing?
I'm doing.
You're
We've
doing?
done 96 of these, and we're still just as bad as we always were.
Wow, what are you talking? Just as bad. Listen to this guy.
Well, I mean, I have no commentaries on that.
Look, if the downloads are any circumstance to it, we haven't changed. You're right. Oh boy. Yeah, we are doing Queen Millennia today. We are going back to the Legiverse, Leiji Matsumoto and his horrifying character designs. But sci-fi as fuck stories. We're back.
Tall blonde woman, yes.
Attractive
And
blonde women that all look the same.
One or two Bishonen guys running around.
Yeah, Bishonen and Bishonen, but yeah, sure.
Yes. And if you feel like you've heard us, if you're a long-term listener, you feel like you've heard a Queen Millennia review. Well, Tori, I believe you spoke about it on your kind of, what was it? Plan to watch bucket list journey that you went on. I think you mentioned it.
I did mention it. I don't think I talked about it that much, because if I'm not mistaken, I think when I was talking about it, they hadn't finished subbing it yet. I might have mentioned it again after, when it was finished, but I don't remember. Maybe I skipped it and waited to the end. I don't remember. Either way, I have talked about it a little bit, yeah, and it's a show that I enjoy. That's for damn sure.
Yeah, I just finished it like 90 minutes before the podcast here, and I went through the whole credits, and immediately they say started in 2005, and what'd they finish in 2019?
Yeah, something like that.
2018. Took a long time for them to.
That is the fan sub version, by the way.
Yeah,
but yeah, no, it was a long-term project. Well, it wasn't supposed to be, but I went to the site of the group that's published it and looked at it, and yeah, they talked about that. 13 years, a lot of shit has happened in the while when that was being made. So there was a lot of mixed emotions when that came to an end, about the whole process of getting that thing subbed and whatnot, and the things that went down. But yeah, they did it anyways, and I'm glad they did, because this is one of those series that you just don't really get a hold of, at least not an English version of anymore. You can get the movie, I know, but and I think if I'm not mistaken, somebody told me about the Harmony Gold version, which has been reappearing on the internet. It was lost media, but people are starting to find more and more episodes of it. And if you're ever thinking about watching those, don't, because that is Captain Harlock and Queen Millennia meshed together into fucking awful piece of shit.
Tori, are you insinuating that Harmony Gold messes with some anime that they get a hold of?
Absolutely not. Listen, man, I've talked about a few shows now on my YouTube channel, Anime Top Scholar, for those that are interested. I have talked about a few Harmony Gold shows, and I swear to God, every time I do, I just get a comment section filled with, dude, I love the Harmony Gold version. And I'm like, where do these people come from?
You'd be surprised where these people exist in all fans,
I
in
get
all
it,
forms
I
of the
get
media.
it. You
yeah.
grew up with them. It's nostalgia. I understand. But it's like, okay. All right. I see how it is.
I mean, it still has its own value, I guess.
Yeah, we'll keep pretending that's true. Yeah.
Well, I mean, yeah, well, just like vintage falsifications of stuff nowadays have its own value.
The fucking like the bad bootlegs. Yeah.
Yeah.
The bad bootlegs across 14 disc sets, 1,000 VHS tapes. Crazy. So yes, Leiji Matsumoto. We've done Captain Harlock in the past. We've done Galaxy Express 39. We've done Yamato. We might have a Leiji Matsumoto boner for this guy's series.
Nah, definitely not.
Definitely not. No. Getting ever so close to number 100. Very exciting. We got some good little anime, good little nostalgia shows heading up to it. One show in particular I'm really looking forward to. Shall we announce kind of what shows we're going to review going up to 100 here?
Sure.
If you want to.
Yeah, I think it'd be fine.
Might as well let the listeners also know a little bit about what we're doing.
Yeah. So our next one is Inuyasha. We're doing kind of the first season there, episodes 1 through 27. That whole kind of big first arc. That might be our next big long show. Maybe not. We do have an opening now that this 42 episode series is over with. That's how long Queen Millennia is. After that's Blue Gender, a show that's been on my kind of plan to watch list for a long time. Dragon's Heaven is after that. That's our little special show. Thanks to Hickey.
God damn. Oh yeah, it's the okay. I see.
Set in Brazil.
We have to cover that one. And then episode 100, Otaku no Video.
I don't remember when we planned that. All I know is we planned that a long time ago.
We've had Otaku no...
I've been waiting for that for so long.
Most likely November of last year.
I think back when we finally got to episode 50, we decided immediately that number 100 just had to be Otaku no Video.
Yeah, we put that on quite early. That was that was decided very early on.
That was the big celebration.
I knew we had to talk about it at some point, but I was just like, why not episode 100? And is there anything special that made it need to be episode 100? Nope. But why not?
I mean, it's an artsy-fartsy anime that has some
technically-ish anime, since it's technically a live action, no? There's live action parts of the Otaku no Video.
It's 50-50. It's both.
It's going to be an interesting one, that's for sure.
Yeah, well.
Maybe we'll have some anime seasonal reviews, who knows? But I'm fully caught up on My Hero Academia and Dr. Stone. I finished Stone World. Fully caught up on those two shonen ones. I thought the plan was to watch Food Wars first, but I'm like a full 2 seasons behind, so that's...
Oh, one cares about Food Wars anymore.
I care about Food Wars still.
Clearly, you don't.
Well, I mean, when you put it that way.
I care, says the guy who haven't watched the last 2 seasons.
Look, bro. Look, dude. It takes a while to catch up with these shonen shows, but yeah, My Hero Academia, what a trash way to finish season 4.
Yeah.
Just atrocious. I absolutely just hated it. Just worthless school festival filler, but it's kind of canon just enough where you're like, God damn it, I gotta watch this shit. And then the last episode and a half is this crazy fight with Endeavor, and he's becoming the number 2. His life's on the line. It's this epic little fight thing. Nah, let's just do it. Let's just take care of this shit in 15 minutes. And people are like, yeah, that's a really cool section of the manga. It's 3 volumes or whatever, how long it is. And I was like, and they do that in an episode and a half. I was really just kind of furious after that because it was so epic, but it just kind of comes out of nowhere.
Gentle Criminal is the worst fucking, at least so far.
Oh, he's terrible. I have no idea what the point of all that was, but other than to fill time.
I mean, it's literally just a case of hey, so anyways, I wanted to be a hero, but I couldn't.
Cool.
So I'm going to be kind of passive-aggressive about it and kind of commit crimes, but not really. It's just kind of minor stuff, and then the big bad thing is I'm trying to break into a school festival.
His crimes were
the big-
trespassing and loitering.
Yeah, and it's like, what's the big deal? Why the fight? Well, because he tried to keep Deku from getting back in time.
Whoop-de-doo.
Basically, that's his fucking biggest crime, I guess. It's like, all right, cool. Actually, I guess his biggest crime is grooming a minor, but either way.
Wow. No,
Nah.
wasn't she a Hikikomori and she was of age?
Remember.
I think she was.
Remember? I don't know. I don't care.
Because she was living alone.
That doesn't really mean anything in Japan.
Well, come on. I'm just trying to use my big brain here.
Have you never watched an anime before? Where like the kid is like 10 years old and the father and mother's like, yeah, we're gonna just go in on a vacation to,
Oh,
fuck
come
each
on, Hickey.
other,
That never
and-
happens. What are you talking about?
Listen, you're
Good
mature
luck.
for your age. You can live.
Yeah,
Can you at least
live.
can you at least give me some money before you leave? Nah.
Nah, get a
Nah.
job.
me and your mother, we need the money for our Hawaii vacations.
That last
When are
6
you
months
coming
on
home?
ends.
When are you coming home again? Home? What are you
This is
talking
our
about?
home.
Well, if I don't die for plot reasons, never. So it doesn't make
Boy.
sense. No, it doesn't make any difference in the end.
My mom and dad
My
went
Hero
on
Academia is
vacation
bad, by the way.
3 years later.
Boy, oh boy. So, I really liked Stone Wars. That was a great way for Dr. Stone to kind of. I was really disappointed in that shorter format of the season, but coronavirus, I'm sure, had a lot to do with it in its production.
Sure.
Yeah.
Did they do the cryogenic chamber thing?
Excuse me.
No,
doesn't know.
probably not.
Yeah. I know that in Stone Wars, like, technology just starts advancing really rapidly.
Yeah.
They've every
When they
step
get
of the
to
way
that
is just this huge advancement in technology and mining raw materials, and it's really
It's a little
funny
bit
to me.
Yeah, but it's a little bit disappointing because one of the things I liked about season 1 was kind of the slow, methodic way of like going about it, and then suddenly it's just like cell phone.
Well, they call it a cell phone. It's really not. It's like a short radio wave walkie-talkie in reality to it all. But anyways,
Even still,
even still, they're
I get
they are
it.
making a point to just this. This is how fast technology develops once you have access and the knowledge is spreading and people start to understand it. So there is a method to the madness.
There is. They talked about that in season 1. It's essentially humanity's evolution kind of exploded, or technological evolution exploded, once we gained access to electricity. That was like one of the big first steps. So it's like, I understand the point, but at the same time, I mean, let's be real here. You're literally living in the stone world.
Yeah, I do like the faction warfare they got going on, technology versus brute force kind of deal, but if you don't have access to certain things, your lifelines are entirely cut off. I really like I like the characters that keep getting introduced and new while not taking it. The new characters are a little arc in themselves with an episode or two, and then they kind of play in the background. And yeah, Dr. Stone is awesome. I mean, as a geologist myself, of course, I just mark out to pure gemstones. They found the one that reacts to ultraviolet light. Oh, I love it. Oh, tungsten, yes, more. No, just me.
Yeah, just you.
Just me, okay.
you. But I guess it's because you're general. Just even though, like, I don't see people committing crimes in anime going, third degree murder.
I'm sure that happens. We just don't hear about it.
Yeah. JD really gets going with rocks and shit. It's very weird.
What do you mean weird? It's my fucking job.
It gets his rocks off.
Hate you.
Oh my god.
Fucking pop Vicky on that one.
You're so lucky, Nero. God damn it. Oh man, I want to just fucking shoot you. Okay.
He wants he wants to Macross slap you now, Hickey.
Heck, Okay. Anyway, I watched SS Dynazodon yesterday.
Oh, do
It was
tell.
very fun. It was very fun, extremely fun. But I like Tokusatsu stuff, so it just went from 0 to 100 real quickly. Also, I don't know why, but the voice acting was extremely awkward. But I think that was the point,
Probably.
since like they are teenagers and stuff. But it was so weird. I was like, oh, maybe they put new voice actors. Usually that's why everything's so awkward. But no, they're experienced, which was a little bit off. But it was very fun, very well animated. It's Trigger. Yeah, and I cannot wait for the second episode because there's a lot of questions right now to be answered.
Yeah, it's one episode.
And
sure hope so.
Tokusatsu stuff.
Tokusatsu stuff.
Hey. It also doesn't make me pop off.
Good.
Uh,
Ah,
I still need to find my rocks.
You need to find your rock equivalent anime. Well, speaking of other anime, more in the gaming verse, as I play the drop of choice. You guys ready for this? Here we go. I got something to update us on. Well, Tori, Hickey, you guys heard that drop, at least before the podcast started. You guys like that sucker? I love the Persona 3 songs.
Yeah, they're pretty good. Persona has some good music in general.
Da-da-da-da. Oh,
But I avoid calling it Persona music because then everybody gets mad.
Why would everybody get mad?
Because it's jazz. It's not Persona music.
Oh, whatever. Of all the things to get mad about.
I mean, it's still Persona music.
I know. It's just weird. Everybody gets mad over something. It's okay.
So my, I guess, weekly update, if you keep following along with the Retro Gaming Podcast and this one, I have reached the point where I finally have to start grinding. It has happened. I made it past the second boss. It was quite difficult, but I did do it. And now I'm on, what was it? I keep going back and forth in floors now, just grinding, but it's like level 47-ish. I keep coming across enemies that basically one-shot me. If I don't knock them down on the first roll through, then I'm dead. Because I'm only at like level 16 overall. Yukari is at level 13. That's way too low. So
yeah,
I've been informed that it's probably ideal to level up in stages of 10 per boss. So second boss, you want to be at like level 20, third boss, level 30, etc. Yeah, I'm not even close to that. So I have a lot of grinding to do in the meantime as I trek on my way to the third boss. So who knows? Maybe a week from now, I will still be grinding away. So that's my Persona 3 update. It's a difficult time in the life of JD and in the Personaverse. But I'm gonna trek away, Tori, just for you and my sanity.
Just remember to save and be careful.
I am compulsively saving.
Be very careful when you grind, especially on the higher floors. I don't know how much you know about Persona, but there is a surprise for a lot of people that aren't familiar with the games that happens in Persona 3.
I've been informed that there's like certain areas or certain events that are kind of point of no return situations, and it branches the story off in one or two directions. Is that what you're referring to?
No, that is not what I'm referring to, but I am referring to something that can give you a very quick game over if you encounter it. You'll know about it. Basically, if you ever start hearing the sound of a chain, get off that floor. Get off that floor right away.
Oh. Does that corrupt the save file and break the fourth wall or something?
No. Do you want to know what happens?
Yeah, now I'm curious.
Okay. In Persona, you have the Reaper.
Okay.
The Reaper is the most powerful enemy in the game.
Okay.
He can appear in Persona 3. He can appear at any time. He usually appears when you spend a lot of time on the floors. So if you kind of just hang out, he will eventually show up.
Oh,
You will
that's
hear
cool.
him because a chain starts appearing, and as the sound of a chain starts, and then you'll see he kind of enters the field, and he will just kind of rush towards you. He's really hard to get away from because he's kind of fast, but it is possible. You can also kind of trap him. His AI isn't that good, but basically, in your state, and probably for quite a while, you will not be able to defeat that guy. He is very strong. He is strong for a long time. He is kind of almost the ultimate boss in the game, because in Persona 3, he drops when he is defeated, he drops a weapon. He drops the strongest weapon in the game for your character. But it's going to take you a while
nice.
it's going to take you a while until you get there.
Is it like one of those kinds that he's so strong, but he drops a strong weapon, but once you get strong enough to defeat him, the weapon is kind of useless?
No, not at all.
Okay.
It's
Okay.
really good.
That's good.
Yeah, no, it's a really strong one. Like, the thing is just, right, because a lot of enemies scale in this game, depending on how high you go. He does not. He stays the same. I'm pretty sure he's the same. But on the first, I don't remember how long. I don't think he can appear on the lowest floors. I think there's a certain point in time until he can start appearing. And then the higher up you go into that tower, the higher the chance it is for him to appear.
Okay.
So yeah, but it's like it is generally just a thing that's like, it's a time thing. He can appear on almost any floor, but just the lower down, the less likely it is to happen, but it can still happen. And the higher up, the more likely it is to happen. And if you spend a significant amount of time on a floor without making any progress, he will show up. And if he catches you, that's basically a restart until where you last saved, until you are strong enough to actually deal with him. And you need not just high levels, you need a strong team as well. He is capable of doing a lot of stuff to absolutely just mess you up and end your reset your little grinding session.
Oh. Well then.
So yeah. So it's I was talking to Semi, a guy that I talked to in voice chat as well, when he was playing. I gave him the same warning, and he was like, "Yeah, sure, I'll remember."
Yeah, sure,
And
whatever, bro.
Then the guy literally just puts on like the thing where you send your everybody around to just grind, and he just leaves it, and then he comes back and he's dead. And I'm like, you got caught by the Reaper, didn't you? Yeah.
That's great.
He had literally left it there for hours, so he had lost hours of grind. So yeah, just be worried about stuff like that. He can quite quickly show up and end your game.
That's great.
It is. It's a nice little thing. It's a nice thing, because it becomes a challenge in and of itself. Find the Reaper and kill him.
Well, cool. I'm definitely way into it. I'm trying. So besides Persona 3 and some podcast games, we've finally gotten away from some other like RPGs or longer games. It's my theme pick, so we're doing just plug in the Retro Gamecast. I just picked a simple theme of Neo Geo games. So just games that came out on the Neo Geo MVS, not the arcade. And so I'm playing Sengoku 2. I just love it's this wacky sci-fi samurai type beat 'em up that's really tough. I bought the whole trilogy on the Switch because I love it so much, and you can beat like all three games in 40 minutes a piece. So I think I'm just gonna kind of beat all three of them. So besides that, I will definitely have more time dedicated to Persona 3, watching a couple more anime. I kind of really want to watch more Promised Neverland, since that whole season is done, and a couple other ones. Yeah. So that's my hopeful plan. We'll see how it diverts, but definitely more Persona 3 grinding. We'll see where I am kind of a week from now when I give another update on the Retro Gaming Podcast. So this is definitely kind of the gimmick going forward. So we yeah, so there's a lot of sports going on. Baseball's back in season. I spent the last couple days watching a bunch of baseball. I read this massive article on the Bundesliga, theorizing kind of too much complacency in the league, and Christian Pulisic pulled an ankle injury, tripping in the tunnel. That was funny. Anything else going on?
Nah, not
Nah.
really.
Yeah, not really. There's like that thing called the virus outside still. It's for like
Never heard of her.
Never heard of it. No.
I cannot do much. I bought a lot of beer. That's it.
Like craft beer IPAs? What are we talking about, Hickey?
I drank a bock and a lager, but it's just cheap beer because I was like, you know what? I might not be able to go to a supermarket, so I just bought like 24 cans and stuff, and they're just in my fridge. That's about it.
Well, okay then.
I was going to buy some sake, but we don't produce sake, so every single sake bottle is imported, and they're very expensive. So I was like, maybe next time when I have something to celebrate.
God, that's what I miss about living in Toronto. There was a place that produced its own sake, and they'd sell it at a couple of the liquor stores in the Toronto area. Oh, I loved the different sake they would produce there. It was so good. That's one of the things I miss about living in Toronto is that particular place in general, and of course poutine. Love the poutine. Anyways, I guess without further ado, let's review some fucking Leiji Matsumoto. Eh?
Yay!
All right.
Yay.
Are you here because you're following the will of others, or are you here on your own will?
Only 26 minutes it took us to get to the review this time. How about that?
How about that?
Yeah. So, Queen Millennia. Shall I read this giant synopsis from my anime list?
Sure.
All right. They don't have one on the Anime Planet, so we're stuck with this one.
Right.
So, Queen Millennia, also known as the Queen of 1,000 Years, 1,000-Year Queen, Shin Takatori, Monogatari, Senenjo, whatever. Anyways, premiered spring 1981. It is from Toei Animation, and here is what it's about. The year is 1999. Amamori Hajime is just a normal, everyday elementary school student trying to study and hang out with his crazy pals. All right, let's stop right there. He doesn't have any friends. Let's just make that clear.
He doesn't.
He doesn't hang out with anybody.
He has bullies that from time to time he also punches and bullies them. I don't think they qualify as friends.
No,
per se.
not at all.
What do you mean? Sometimes they go up to him and ask if fucking Yayoi is there. The one that everybody loves.
Right. But then one day, as his father is testing a piece of equipment he is working on, something causes it to blow up, taking the house with it. Now orphaned, because of course this is anime. Hajime is taken in by his uncle, who is an astronomer. There at his uncle's observatory, he meets a girl he's seen before and develops somewhat of a crush on. He finds out that her name is Yukino Yaoi, and her parents run a ramen shop in town. But even better than that, she's his uncle's assistant. What luck! But Yaoi isn't exactly what she seems. There is a reason she helps out Amamori at the observatory. She is the Millennial Queen, specially chosen by her home planet La Metal to go to Earth and help prepare for the possible annihilation of the planet. What will cause this disaster? La Metal has an extremely elliptical orbit, which sends it very, very close to Earth every 1,000 years. When it gets close enough, the Earth reacts, causing all sorts of natural disasters. Although she was chosen with the idea of protecting La Metal in mind, her personal plan is to evacuate as many humans as she can. So if their planet is destroyed, they will survive. However, there's one person who strives to stop her plan, the head of the Millennial Thieves. Why does he want to stop Yaoi? And how does he know how does he know about the Millennial Queen anyway? So there's a lot of questions in the synopsis. Not the worst synopsis in the world, I must say. Long-winded, but not the worst.
I mean,
there's one key information missing, but that's fine.
there's technically a lot of key information missing, but that's...
So, like, for the synopsis.
No, I know,
Just
but even then, there's some stuff that could be... But yeah, it's alright. As far as Mal synopsis goes, actually, this is an AnyDB source, so but that explains it.
Yeah.
As far as stolen My Anime synopsis goes, this is okay.
Yeah, it's an actual synopsis of kind of what the series is about, rather than the first episode recapped. Right?
Or even better, just a couple of things that you read and you're like, that didn't happen.
Right,
That didn't happen.
Yeah.
So Hajime is our main character. He's a small child, and if you know anything about Leiji Matsumoto, the mangaka of, well, this entire universe, he is a horrifying character design creature. Just, look it up. It is quite something. And our main woman, Yaoi, she is a beautiful blonde woman. Very much in line with all of Leiji Matsumoto's works.
Yep.
Yeah, blonde woman, small, horrifying-looking child that follows along, and they have this kind of not mother-son relationship, but mother or young woman infatuated child relationship. I hope that makes sense.
Hajime's in love with Yaoi.
Oh, there's no doubt.
The first law of beautiful school thing.
Yep.
Yeah. So
Except he's in elementary.
Yeah, so Yaoi's parents run a ramen shop, but she works at an observatory. Hajime's father also works at the observatory. He is an engineer that kind of, I guess he develops telescopes and higher end technology to look into space. And keep in mind, this is 1981, so this was probably written in the late 70s. And one key thing, I think, from a science perspective to keep in mind are the amount of plate tectonics and geology that is still being discovered for the first time during this era. So there's a lot of wacky. Now we know we now know our kind of inconsistencies to the knowledge that was known back then. So that was just kind of something interesting from my perspective, and the fact that how far astronomy had come along and how much was still yet to be discovered because of the technology gap was also quite interesting. So they had to take a lot of leaps and assumptions to what they could see and what was going to be able to be seen in 1999. So from that perspective, it was quite interesting to see kind of what they were able to know or predict and what kind of wasn't able to be panned out. But yes, he is an engineer.
Unfortunately, the huge spaceships were done. It's still not done. That's
huge spaceships going into space pretty easily was not developed by 1999. That was way off.
I can't believe how many people got that wrong.
As far as we know. As far as we know.
That's true. Yeah. Area 51, anyone? What's going on?
Yeah, what's the deal? What's the deal? Anyways. So while Hajime he's obsessed with space and the stars, naturally, because his dad, he works with the observatory. His uncle works at the observatory. That's the family. That's that runs in the family. And his dad's promised him this new telescope that he can see the stars even better. There's a lurky figure in the back that's kind of following Hajime and looking over his house, and Hajime sees him. And his father has been asked in secret to develop this high-end telescope of some kind, and it has an energy source. And you immediately get the feeling that there's a hidden plot behind it, which is very interesting. And there's secret phone calls. You're like, all right, assassin plots maybe they're trying. And he's got these secret blueprints, and this is a huge chunk of the plot going forward for what would you say, half the show? Half of the 42 episodes?
Yeah. Something like that.
More or less?
Hmm.
And he's just doing this in the basement of the house. No big deal. Which is really funny, considering it blows up and takes his parents with him. And if he was there at any point while he was working on it in the middle of the night, he would have died as well. So that's kind of funny.
You always take your work with you home.
Yeah.
Everybody knows this.
Yeah,
And-
especially the type that can explode and kill your family.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So he gets a mysterious phone call that he's being watched, and he gets another phone, or he calls the observatory to the person that asked him to make this device. And I assumed it was a telescope of some kind. It turns out it was something even more important. It was engine related for spaceships.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a woman's voice on the end. You go, oh, interesting. So when you put the pieces together and kind of the mysterious woman that's showing up and she's kind of in the background, you if you know anything about Leiji Matsumoto's work, you go, okay, she is the plot, basically. She is the big deal. And yes, it turns out to exactly be that way. So the way the first half of the story plays out with the mystery behind Yaoi, the connection between her and Hajime growing, Hajime learning more and more. He is a child, so he does have these just wacky, comedic character outbursts all the time. The 1980s-esque-ness of the absurd dialogue between adults and the child are very wacky. How much Hajime means to the street, like he has the biggest plot armor you can imagine.
Oh hell yeah, that's just Leiji Matsumoto though. Like he loves throwing people into, like, seriously fucking like bad situations. I mean, for fuck's sake. Later on in the show, Hajime literally flies a helicopter because, you know, of course, that's just something elementary schoolers do. And fucking, he literally crashes it. I know, but he literally crashes it in, like, the worst fucking way. It's just like, oh man, I hope he survived. And he just fucking emerges from the wreck, like, oh, that was bad.
The
like,
amount of helicopter crashes that the people just walk out of and then they're fine is pretty amazing. The most recurring absurdity in the show is the access to high-end flight vehicles and crashing and people just walking out of is crazy. Just from Yamamori Yaoi's assistant, Queen Millennial's assistant, we should say, or right-hand man. He can just walk into a space base and just take a spaceship, no big deal. The Hajime just goes, I gotta go save somebody. He just has access to a helicopter without anybody guarding it or whatever, and he knows how to fly it. They just let this 12-year-old fly helicopters. No problem.
Hey man, you learned early back in the 80s.
Yeah. He was a passenger on one flight with Yamamori early in the show, and that was enough where now he can fly a helicopter. Well, to be fair, his first helicopter flight, he does crash pretty easily, but then after that, it's totally fine.
It's kind of weird because he has full control until he suddenly doesn't anymore.
He can take off no problem.
Yeah, where it's like suddenly it's just like, oh shit, I don't really know what I'm doing. It's like, okay, yeah. And now that you thought about it, it became a problem.
Yeah.
So
I thought it was a problem when, like, he cannot see forward.
I know, right?
He's not tall enough to. Well, he's not tall enough to operate the pedals on the helicopter, but he cannot see in front of him. Like he can only see the panel, and he can fly easily, go save people. It's like, yeah, you know what? That's fair.
I feel like that sometimes.
So yeah, so my overall thoughts on the show, barring just the absurd plot devices of Leiji Matsumoto and the story in general, if I'm comparing this to a lot of Legimato's other works, it's definitely closer to the Captain Harlock than Galaxy Express 39. With it being a lot is based on Earth. A lot is focused around Earth, and I really enjoyed how the story progressed. It had a beginning, middle, and end to it, kind of twice over, with the halfway point being a big reveal and developing the next stage of plot. But the overall one with this impending planet coming to Earth and its gravitational force is going to fuck Earth up. And they make that very clear. We have to figure out a way to, well, save Earth. What can we do to learn about this planet? And the event, the end with the eventual kind of revelation of another a major plot device coming into a savior mode, essentially. I guess I could put it that way. This series, with the character developments, the overall plot, I thought progressed very in a very interesting way that I felt engaged and had no issue going episode to episode throughout it. And for a 42 episode series in the early 70s, late 80s, early 70s to mid 80s, I'll put it that. There weren't a lot of shows like this. A lot of them were more episodic, like Galaxy Express 39. A lot seemed to have kind of your Monster of the Week scenario. This one didn't really have that. It did have kind of down periods.
Yamori.
Yamamori was, or Yamori was Yamamori. Yamori was the one factor that kind of was definitely overplayed too much. Yeah. I wish there was more.
And I feel sorry for Yamori. Like he got played dirty in that show.
I mean,
he kind of deserved it.
Dirty. Yeah,
he didn't deserve that.
He's a bit of a dick. Are you kidding me?
Yes, but like, I don't think he deserved that because like
motherfucker wants to sacrifice humans just to fucking progress.
Well, I mean, he was loyal to Flametel from start to finish. There's no doubt about that.
She was Sand Queen, but like at the end, when you have like the big thing and you have the reveal that the Sand Queen didn't want anything that to happen, it's just like she couldn't do anything. It's like, oh man, Yamori, poor guy.
Nah. I don't think. I think he kind of got what he deserved. Man. Now, I kind of agree with JD. I really do like this. The only thing I kind of had a little bit of problem with is the ending, or rather the fact that, as with everything, this was supposed to be longer, 10 episodes longer to be exact. It was originally scheduled for 52 episodes, but then because it was never, they thought it would be as popular as Galaxy Express, and then it wasn't. So then they were basically like, 42 instead of 52. So you kind of feel that at the end when it's just like, okay, we need to wrap up. Now, right now. That's a little bit of an unfortunate ending. But either way, that's like, I had a good time with it. I think the show was very ambitious for what it is.
Oh, yeah.
It definitely wanted to do a lot.
Yeah, a lot of characters, a lot of little plot arcs.
Everybody being connected to each other somehow.
Yeah. Many little, like a lot of little things that just to come up together to the conclusion, and something like half of the people that are important to the plot just die in the same room. It's like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
I feel like someone cut the life support in this.
Definitely did.
Yeah, because by the end you have like new factions forming, like defining at least, getting defined who is siding with who, especially on La Metal kind of side of things.
Yep.
But then it's just like, well, yeah, but like everyone died.
Everyone died.
Yeah, there's a Doric comet now. It's like, oh, I see. Interesting.
Shit.
The elite just dying. It was like, oh, okay.
But I do appreciate that they tried. I do like how everybody kind of interconnects with each other, and how in a way it's like for a while you get that sense of like everybody's just trying their best. La Metal doesn't care about Earth because, as far as they're concerned, the Earth is kind of just in the way, and whatever's going to happen, the fucking natural disasters and whatnot, that is just part of nature. Can't avoid it. It's going to happen. We need to save ourselves. Earth is kind of just like, well, we don't want to die. We need to prevent that from happening. They need to die. And then there's the Queen Millennia, who was like, I want to at least try to save somebody, which I understand, but it's kind of fucked up in the sense that, you know, there are people of Earth. She is tasked with collecting people of Earth to Lamatel, but as you know, they are just treated as slaves and absolutely horrible
that
conditions.
plot point didn't make a lot of sense.
It makes sense, but it wasn't really ever. It's kind of just like, they're being kept slaves. What do? They connect water pipes in very bad conditions, by the way. Right. No safety equipment. It's just like,
that's the point. It's like, well, we need new humans to work to us while we sleep. I was like, okay, very talented people, like scientists and stuff. I was like, okay, so like they probably have some technology that make people live long enough, but then they need to capture more every 1,000 years. And no, there's like native humans, Chulametal, that lives in slums. They do not need new humans because the humans that they already had procreated over 1,000 years, and they have all the scientists, all those talented people, and they just connect pipes and shit. I was like, that's not right. It doesn't make a lot of sense.
That makes a lot of sense, but and of course you have the Millennium Thieves, who is a nice little kind of just in there being trying to interrupt everything, kind of being like the anti-Lamatal faction, and it's I definitely enjoyed this show. It's something I don't know. It was definitely one of those shows that I came across, and I was like, you know, I like Leiji Matsumoto stuff. I'm sure I'll have fun, episodic, you know, some space adventure episodic stuff, and then I got hit with this, and I'm just like, I was not ready here. I was not prepared for this.
The dialogue in the show, it really made me laugh more than it should, because there was just I'll point to two in particular that just really cracked me up, or three in particular that really cracked me up. One was at the beginning when Hajime's parents blew up. Okay. And it's like a day later or 2 days later, he's at school. He's kind of huddled in the corner, and his two pals, as the Mal review or synopsis said, his two pals, they come up to him, and they're like, "Hey, where's the ramen lady? Where's the hot blonde chick that works at the ramen shop?" But then they immediately pivot and go, "Look, Hajime, you're real selfish. You're a real selfish asshole, aren't you?" He kind of looks at him. You go, "Look, just because your parents died." Doesn't mean you need to be around here all mopey. You're really bringing everyone down. It's like, what the fuck?
Right? Dude. That is such a nice thing of the time, though. It's like, I love shit like that. You have a lot of older series that does shit like that, where it's just like, you know, oh yeah, sure, your parents might have died, your house might have burned down, you might not have anywhere to live. Hell, you may have cancer and probably only had like 3 months left to live. But do you really need to ruin the mood for everyone else?
Yeah. You're such a bummer. Like, come on, cheer up. Put a smile. Get a smile. What are you doing?
Get it together, man.
Yeah, that was really funny. And those two characters, the only thing they care about throughout the entire series is wanting to see Yaoi, hot blonde ramen chick, the entire time. And they use Hajime, and they beat him up sometimes too, and force him throughout the show, basically. And then there is a moment where Hajime saves his sister from his house burning, that she was going to die, and that was, you know, call it a hunch. But I think that turned it around for good old Hajime and the bullies there.
Oh man,
yeah. You're gonna be my sister's husband. Oh, well, all right.
There's a lot of funny fights as well. I just like the fact that, like, Want to talk about unrealistic shit? A fucking grown man tries to fight
A child?
tries to fucking fight a child, and they're actually having a tough time.
great.
Tough battle. Both get thrown into the lake, and just like, come on.
Fucking great. Yeah.
A trained soldier tries to fight a child and loses. It's
So
like,
the explanation.
poor Yamori. Yamori just, oh man, poor
Yeah.
guy. Like,
No, that wasn't Yamori. That was the.
That wasn't Yamori.
No, but Yamori also lost to.
Yeah, he also gets. They also fight. But I'm talking about the. I'm talking about the Millennium Thieves guy.
Yeah, no, it's like, man, I wish they just killed Yamori. They had like 5 or 6 chances to kill the guy. And it's like, nah, I cannot do that. And Yamori's like, I survived. I'm going to steal a helicopter now. Every single fucking time.
Everyone escapes clutches of prison just way too easily. So my other 2 lines that I
Help,
really loved.
I'm dying. Oh, I'm dying. Open door, beats up one guy, gets gun. Okay, now you go inside. That was easy.
Yeah.
That happened like 3-4 times as well during the show.
So the other two line sequences that I loved in the dialogue that cracked me up. The second one was Hajime is talking to his uncle. His uncle's looking at La Metel inching closer. Natural disasters are starting to destroy Earth. 7.2 plus earthquakes, tsunamis. The Phoenix plan, where their bright idea was to throw like ballistic missiles at a planet to interrupt its orbit. They're looking at it, and Hajime's staring. His uncle just looks at him. Aren't you supposed to be going to school right now? Oh, Uncle, I think with everything going on right now, this is more important. Hajime, what the fuck are you talking about? There is no more important time now to prove how important school is. Go to school. And he's like, shit, okay. he's just on a train. Ignorance is bliss, I guess.
Hey, man. School is important.
School is more important than Earth. Well,
I mean, to be fair, it's like, what the fuck is Hajime going to do anyway?
Yeah.
He's just kind of there.
It's like, do you realize at that time the news was saying there's a huge rock in space shooting lasers and spaceships towards us, but there's no official information from the observatory still.
Right. Yeah. So just go to school. Don't worry about all the natural disasters happening and fires and pandemonium. But anyways, and then my last one was the role Leggy the cat. So great name. Love the fourth wall there. The cat's name was Leggy. Hajime's walking down the street. The cat just goes meow meow. He scratches at his leg a couple times, and a full-on 1960s Lassie moment. The old couple in the ramen shop is in trouble. Yeah. Let's go, boy.
Yep. Yeah. No. Listen, man. It's easy to understand animals.
It happens multiple times. People just nonchalantly speak cat.
In this universe, everybody understands animals.
I mean, Leiji can fucking glow and become a ball of energy, so might as well he uses telepathy.
But that only happened the one time.
That's one more time than normal cats do it.
Well,
it was the one time that he actually needed to use the fucking telepathy.
Listen, man. Leiji Matsumoto's not a man who just pulls random shit out of his ass whenever he needs it.
No.
I love whenever special abilities just come up out of nowhere.
It's totally fine.
Same thing with Queen Millennia, though.
Oh no, yeah. Oh no, they're fucked. And suddenly fucking Yaoi starts to glow and do stuff. Like, I
love it. It's like the best thing they've ever got is like, she has some special abilities. Like, cool, what's her special ability? Her special ability is literally to prevent this one disaster from happening. That is very convenient, but alright.
This crown gives you godlike abilities. Why weren't you using that the whole time?
I know, right? Nah, but to be fair though, I do make fun of that scene a lot. Like, what is it, episode 38 or whatever? I do make fun of that scene a lot, but god damn it. I love that scene, that entire scene, just like from a visual perspective, like a set piece perspective with everything. The fucking towering waves just picking up the fucking huge ships coming in, just fucking taller than the skyscrapers, and then just that fucking that little woman just standing there, fucking repelling the waves. I do like the way that entire scene plays out, minus the
You know, for 1981,
powers.
much of the show was, whether it was the backgrounds, the moving pieces, the presentation to it all. Remember how much we praised the early stages of Yamato in the mid-70s?
Yeah.
This was a lot like that throughout the entire time. I really enjoyed it.
If I'm not mistaken, a lot of the same people that worked on Yamato worked on this one as well. At least some of them.
Yeah.
I know the director did.
The director is Nobutaka Nishizawa, so he's done. He did Galaxy Express 3.9. He was chief director, so he had a lot of experience with that. Did he do anything with Yamato? I don't.
No,
think
he didn't.
So.
He didn't. I was wrong about that.
He is the big director of Slam Dunk, so
Yes,
he's got that for the 90s. So that's cool.
yeah. The art director worked on Yamato, though he started at Yamato 2.
That's still pretty damn good.
Yeah, it is. Well, one of the art directors. The other one had nothing to do. But yeah, no, okay. Yeah, so it was Yamato 2 they got involved with, but still. Point still stands. I think as far as like Queen Millennia goes, and as far as like Leiji designs, I do actually like the Queen Millennia designs a lot more, because like in Galaxy Express, everybody's so scrawny and tiny and fucking like sharp chins and whatnot. I do like that. At least here they decided to go for a little smoother finish on at least the women. Like Yayoi, she is a little bit rounder in her face and whatnot, a little bit, not quite as sickly thin, still quite thin, but not as bad as, Metal from Galaxy Express.
Yeah.
That was a nice touch. It looks a little bit more human.
The one thing I wish they went in more detail on, because one of the cruxes to the story that we find out is the whole purpose of Queen Millennia on Earth. Yaui's job is to recruit / kidnap the smartest people on Earth and funnel them all in and take them back to La Metal to basically be slaves to take care of the Metalians, as I'll call them, as they go into cryo sleep for much of the lifespan of the planet due to the planet's orbit and having to live underground. So I found that interesting from that plot perspective, that there is an entire purpose to all this. And where was I going with that?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I can pick it up and say, again, like I just said before, it doesn't make sense. There's no need to do that. You already have a bunch of humans as slaves in your home planet. It doesn't make sense.
It showed they repopulate, so that's not necessary at all.
No, especially like why the smartest people? Because like the cryogenic stuff, when we see them, it's just La Metal people operating it. Might be the case that they are awake, so they are the ones operating.
Well, at this time they're awake.
But like, why not make? Also, another thing, like, why not make automatic stuff?
Listen, man, this is the 80s, dude. Come on, you can't do that.
Oh, this is where I was going. So I did wish they went into a little bit more explanation about the Metalians themselves. They mentioned that people are cloned.
Yeah.
So why not just clone, like kind of what Hickey said? Why not just have cloned people take care of the cryo sleep people? That's the case.
Good question.
Yeah.
I think this is one of those things from the manga that just never made it over to the anime, sadly. Because I know there is a well, from what I've heard anyways, there's some sort of supposed to be a connection between the Lametalians and of course the cyborg people that of Galaxy Express 3.9. But I'm not entirely sure. I haven't read the manga, so I'm not entirely sure what what that is or whether or not that is even correct to begin with. But I do know those two are connected. Yeah, they are connected. We can talk about that a little bit later.
Oh, just talk about it now then.
Okay. So I mean, I've already mentioned it, but in as far as Yayoi and Queen Millennia is concerned, Queen Millennia is the one who will eventually succeed and become Queen Prometheum II, who, if you watched Galaxy Express 39, is the quote-unquote big bad in that series, which I think is kind of interesting. So she is the one who is responsible for the whole mechanized people thing.
Okay.
Which is
Okay,
essentially... No, so that's where that like connection goes. That's what I mean, right? That's why that is connected to the Lametalians, in the sense that they are clones. They are cloned, and they are the ones who should eventually become at least the foundation for what makes the cyborg people. But whether or not that is directly or whether that is something else, I can't say for certain because I haven't read the manga. I can't say if there is something that happens later.
So maybe so skip to the end here where it's revealed that a part of the orbit of La Metal is in conjunction with this massive comet, and they call it the Dark Comet, and it kind of functions as this black hole of sorts that has this massive gravitational pull, and that's basically what's causing this huge elliptical orbit of the planet to Earth. So what you're saying is possibly that because Yaoi destroyed the comet, that the planetary orbit is now this new one, and now that they can, and because the comet is no longer affecting La Metel's, I guess gravitational forces the same way, they can now live above they can live on the surface, that planet becomes Andromeda, and those people become the new Andromedans, and the descendants of Yaoi the Queen becomes the new big bad of Galaxy Express.
Something along those lines, yes.
That's kind of cool. I like that.
I'd have to read the manga to verify that, whether or not that is the actual. It could also just be a case of and then they changed. No, it's not coincidence. We do know that they are connected. We do know that that Yayoi is Queen Prometheum II, the Andromeda Prometheum II.
Yeah, because if there's if they cloned a bunch of them, then which they absolutely did, there's at least a few. Because they do have a really cool battle on Venus of a clone to replace Yaoi. That was really cool. So yeah, there is a premise there to be explored of all these side stories. That's what's really cool about the Leggy universe, is everything is connected in some way or another, that you can put the puzzle pieces together. That's I love shit like that. It's great.
Although a lot of them is literally just they're in the same universe. Do they connect? Do they directly connect to each other? Not really. They're just in the same universe.
Yeah, but you can kind of make your own assumptions about it all.
You can. The universe is a vast place, right? No, but there is
space is big.
It is one of those things. Like I do kind of wish that there was like a better writer involved. Sorry, I do like Leiji Matsumoto, but he isn't always the strongest writer.
No, I don't think anyone's ever claimed it.
But it is still part of me where I'd almost like to see like a giant compendium of the like Leiji-verse, just everything and how it connects.
Well, okay, you want to connect kind of Yamato in what was it, 2044 or something? Isn't that what it is? 2199. So 100.
2199, yeah.
Like 100 plus years later, that maybe Earth is being destroyed again.
Again.
Yeah, because a lot of those ship designs sure look like Yamato, didn't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nah, but I do definitely think there's a nice little explanation there, and give it to somebody capable of actually tying everything together neatly.
Oh, absolutely. I'm sure all of us could kind of loosely put it all together and just, isn't that cool that it all works that way in our own headcanon? It's really neat.
Yep.
Yeah, the Dark Comet, the Dark Comet plot in the last few episodes. Yeah, it's a bummer that it's the same with Yamato where it was cut short, so they just had to get home right away. Same thing with the Dark Comet reveal. It's a really cool scientific explanation and solution to the bigger problem. A lot of easy plot elements to kind of throw it all together, where Yaoi and her magic super telekinetic powers can just blow up a comet. Whatever. It's fun. It's fun anyways.
Yeah, it's tragic as well.
Yeah.
The character that you've known from episode 1 to just go into space and blow herself up to save everyone.
Well, the concept of self-sacrifice is really cool. It definitely makes you want to kind of know where Hajime kind of takes his life after it and what happens. But you can kind of, I don't know, my own theory is maybe Saren kind of goes back and they develop a relationship through their connection with Yaoi. Maybe. I wasn't too thrilled with the whole top queen of La Maytel, just, the surface is there, the comet's destroyed, your god deity that you've grown up, it's destroyed? Oh, everyone will live now. Oh, no problem. Just total character shift in a second. Maybe her brain broke. You can just...
No, that's the point. Like I said before, she couldn't do anything before. So kind of she set herself up to be the big bad guy and push everything to the place they end up with.
Yeah, so
like the outcome of the comet being destroyed was what she wanted. But she couldn't do it because she was the Sand Queen. She cannot destroy the thing. She needs a traitor to destroy the thing so everyone can be happy and free. That's why, like, when Yaoi goes in and she destroys, and you see the actual Sand Queen, what she thought about that, which is, I'm so sorry I couldn't be a mother to you. I really wanted you. Now everyone will be free, essentially. But that's what she wanted from the beginning. Yeah.
Okay. All right. That makes more sense. I thought one of the show's strongest points was its sense of knowing how to do a cliffhanger and get to another area to give you a sense of drama. And one section in particular I point to as an example is when Yamori and Hajime crash the plane and the Millennium Thieves are searching for them. So they could go on foot and they end up in this graveyard. The sacred ancestral grounds of Queen Millennia, or the Saint Queen, or whatever it is. And no one's ever left this area or this region alive, and you're introduced to Mirai, this fully energy woman that that will kill you on the spot, but then kind of she has her own character, and now it's not a big deal if people keep walking into the graveyard all the time. Yeah, that was cool because I was like, oh man, what's gonna be there? And then you have this guardian, and they got to fight against her, and then it provides kind of another clue to who Queen Millennia is. You know it, but the characters in the show don't. I always like plot elements like that when I'm reading a story in a book or when I'm watching something where you, the viewer, know more than the characters, so you're on the journey of their discovery rather than your own. I like those elements. So there was a good sense of drama throughout the show, I felt. Tori?
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely. I'm just reading some stuff here.
What are you reading?
No, I was reading up on the whole connection to Galaxy Express, and there seems to be a little bit of, again, Leiji Matsumoto stuff. There seems to be a little bit of confusion.
Yeah, you don't say.
Yeah, in regards to that, because there is some promotional material that specifies one thing, and then there's a little bit of confusion there as to whether or not it's the same or it's different, because Yaoi reappears, and then you can say that, yeah, sure, it's the whole cloning thing, which is absolutely possible, but I don't think that's ever specified. And yeah, so it's uncertain. It's kind of uncertain whether or not they are directly connected, whether or not it's one of those things where it's it was rewritten later, or whether or not it's supposed to be connected, or that she is in fact
Andromeda.
Queen Prometheum the second. Yeah.
Okay.
But according to the promotional materials, she is.
We don't know if it's the same yaoi, basically.
Basically, and it could be either or again. With Leiji Matsumoto, everything is possible. I'm sure he thought this out, probably, maybe.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
sure likes the same kind of tragic plot element at the end of his series. That's for sure. What did you guys think of the reveal of the Millennium Thief leader? Did you guys? My thought was it was going to be like her lost lover from
Okay.
Yeah. her childhood or something, her first love kind of situation. But as we finds out, I thought it was pretty ingenious where she had a voice modulator and the entire costume hit her hair, and it turns out to be her lost, older sister, which was kind of cool. I thought it was a good little swerve and a good way to kind of bring the two sides together more, even though they knew they were enemies kind of situation. I thought that was a really, really good build and swerve to the reveal. What did you guys think?
It's nice for Celine's reasoning for opposing Lamital, but I do think it's kind of funny that she is so adamant on keeping her identity hidden. Just because it's like, I understand that like you don't want to accidentally reveal who you are to Lamitalians. That makes total sense to me. But it's like, what? Why are you afraid of like? Why are you afraid of fucking like Hajime finding out who you are? It's not like he would know either way. You kind of be like, you look like somebody I know.
Well, he has a big fucking
related?
mouth, so don't tell anybody. All right, I'll tell everybody.
But even that, I mean, she didn't need to tell her that they were related. But sure, it's just kind of funny to me. It's one of those it's one of those little things where it's like, I need to keep my identity hidden. Literally, no one except for people on Lamital knows who you are. I don't think you have to worry that much.
It was funny that even though after the review, it took a good 5 episodes until we were certain that the Queen Millennia and the Millennium Thieves were allies.
Yeah.
There's 5 or 6 episodes which like, are you guys allies? I don't know. Are we allies? Well, I don't know. It was an interesting kind of review, because especially like you don't know if the Millennium Thieves are telling the truth because they're the bad guys, and suddenly like you see the beautiful woman, the Leiji woman. I was like, oh yeah, she's 100% telling the truth. Done.
This was an overall very strong show from beginning to end. I loved every step and how it progressed the plot. There's some very wacky, 1980s anime tropes that they do where there's constant breakouts, back and forths, and running away, and it goes at a fast pace at times throughout that. But how the story progressed, how the characters progressed, how it got to each plot element. This is definitely one of the stronger shows especially in the early 80s and late 70s time period that this came out in. I would definitely give it a big recommendation.
I guess I wouldn't put it at a good early 80s show, but I'll put it as a good late 70s manga. Yeah,
I definitely put it
also because this is probably one of the weirdest Taketori Monogatari adaptations out there. Taketori Monogatari is the Kaguya Hime story. So loosely based, just like Gankotsu is loosely based on
Monte Cristo.
Monte Cristo. This is extremely loosely based on Kaguya Hime. So yeah, but I don't know. Like the show stalled a little bit after episode 30. That's my opinion. I already voiced it on our chat. the beginning of like the Yamori quest, basically.
He was
Where
definitely the
Yamori-
more annoying part of the show. I
Yamori
agree.
does, yeah. I mean, I don't think he should be annoying. Which that I'm really glad the show got short then, because if they spend so much time with Yamori going around, just almost dying, stealing a helicopter, going to do something bad, almost dying, someone has finally the chance of either putting him in jail forever or killing him. They don't do that. He escapes, he survives, he steals an helicopter, and the cycle repeats. It's really annoying. Really, really annoying.
Didn't
Because of that,
Yaoi kill somebody without issue early in the show?
Yes. She
So-
killed the general.
Yeah.
Right.
Geffen?
Yeah, she killed him, no problem. So what? Stop. I don't understand what possessed her to.
I think because
Not
she
kill
never
him.
she wasn't in any position to kill Yamori.
Guess.
Well, aside like two times she said to arrest him instead of killing him.
Should have
There were
just
two
shot him.
times, yeah.
Should have just killed him.
I mean, he was her second. So it could be something there that because of that she didn't necessarily want him. She didn't see him as that bad. But again, he kind of becomes more and more corrupted. Like his allegiance to Lamital is obviously very strong, but he kind of fuses that with like the kind of like personal glory. So it kind of just becomes more and more, and then it's like he's never been a fan of humans, which is fine. But then it's like, you know, the whole like, I don't care, kill them all. I'll kill them all myself. Like he is not even particularly fond of the whole like fucking getting like transporting the smartest humans to Lamital. He's like, why? Just kill them all. They're in the way.
Oh, you know what was an element of the story that was dropped completely that I was really kind of peeved at? So, a big chunk of the beginning of the story was focused around these meteorites that come from, I believe it was established as Lamital, or at least asteroids that were, basically these asteroids fall to Earth and they house this tremendous amount of energy, and they use these meteorites to power their massive spaceships. That's what the blueprint is all about. Is this engineering technology to be able to house
it's
the
an
energy.
engine, well, a reactor of some sort. Yeah.
Yeah, reactors also, yes.
Yeah, and they get them. So Yaoi takes the meteorites, and she wants to do her own research. You know, for her spaceship purposes. Like, okay, that makes sense. And then Yamori steals it, and they finally get their hands on the blueprints, and then it's just totally dropped, and we never come back to that because that was such a problem in the beginning of the show, is how to actually be able to house this energy. And you can assume, I think the show just wants you to assume that, oh, they got the blueprints, no problem. But the whole beginning of the show was about Hajime's father being tasked with designing this with the blueprints, and he wasn't able to do it. And then when Yaoi and her engineers are testing out the meteorite, they fucking can't do it, and it causes this massive explosion and reveals where their underground base is. And as soon as they get the blueprints, it's never talked about again. And that really peeved me, because that was such a focal point of half the show, basically.
Yep.
That really brought down a lot for me. At least a point.
So like they actually did the reactor. That is the funny part. It's like, so like you didn't need to commission someone to do that to begin with, I guess. The huge spaceship she uses to blow up the thing, I'm pretty sure she just blows up the reactor with the meteorites inside of it.
Yeah, but that's
Instead of
still a
just
major element that
herself
you, the
blowing.
viewer, are tasked with just figuring out on your own, because
Well,
it's dropped altogether. Like, if you didn't put that together, you would think that Yaoi, with her magic telekinesis powers, she was the one that blew it up.
Yeah, no, there are certain things that just kind of
Yeah, but like, you know what,
I get lost.
the ending I can forgive because it was cut short.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You know, you have elements, enough elements to understand the meteorites and the energies or inside of the spaceship they would
Well,
use
yeah,
to
that's
save
because we're
humans.
smart
And
anime Joshi brain guys.
Totally. Yes. Big brains.
Yes,
okay, our collective one brain cell working very hard.
That's right.
anime
right.
hive mind smartness.
In a perfect world, there would have been a lot more. It has Queen Millennia definitely has a lot of glaring issues, but goddamn it, I can forgive it because it's just such a good time.
Well,
Ugh.
Tori, what would you score it?
I scored this bad boy a 7 out of 10.
Ooh.
I like it. I really do. As a
What
matter
did
of
you
fact,
dock
I like
points off of then to make it a 7?
Now I fucking again, it comes from a lot of the stuff that we've talked about. There are certain stuff that never gets fully realized. I dock it for that ending, for the fact that it kind of rushes at the end, and just for the fact that like while I enjoyed it, it was I never thought it was good enough to reach kind of that like high 8, 9 points. So it was like for a long time I was stuck in like the 6 area.
Oh.
But I ended up kind of convincing myself that it was closer to a 7. The reason for that is just because I gave Galaxy Express a 7, and I actually enjoy Queen Millennia more than Galaxy Express. So I was like, I can't say that I enjoy the show more than the thing it kind of took over for, even though it was technically a prequel. Well, not technically, it is a prequel. And then score it lower. That wouldn't make sense. And it's like, I don't think that I'm not going to go back and score Galaxy Express lower because I do like Galaxy Express. So I ended up just settling for a 7.
That's interesting because I was thinking something quite similar with how does it compare to the other Leggy shows, how much, especially Galaxy Express 39.
Yeah.
And I was of the same mind. I was also comparing it to other shows of the time period that I have seen before, like Dunbine and Dayon, and I was like, man, this show is leagues above those.
I guess a little bit better than Dayon as well. I don't thought that.
So when I was comparing to what it's based off of, how it was able to accomplish what it set out to do, other shows of the era, like I was like, okay, what truly bothered me? The ending was cut short, so that's -1, and then the dropped plot elements and the repetition to certain characters. Yamamori, naming Yamori, one of them. I'm gonna give it an 8 out of 10. I'm very high on the show. It's definitely a recommendation from me if you're into sci-fi space shows. It's definitely one of the better written shows of the era, leagues above, at least from what we've seen. And now that it's fully translated and people can have access to it, I think it's one worth seeking out and giving a chance. Now, of course, there is the entry point of Leiji Matsumoto's horrifying character designs for many characters. Like that is the big turnoff for a lot of people.
Leiji Matsumoto, weird thing that the thing that he does good is the thing that he does bad. So the show is well written and bad written at the same time.
Yep.
So
yeah.
Like, you need to deal with it. So you need to choose a side. Either the glass is half full or half empty.
Right. And I'm gonna be on. I'm gonna be on the positive side of that.
Yeah, I gave it a 6. For me, it's just half empty.
Okay. So
the show stalls. Yeah, the show stalls a lot in the middle. There's a lot of repetition. There's a lot of reviews. They're not actually reviews. Yaoi is like half of the characters that get revealed in the series. And like, look, it's the mysterious character. It is Yaoi. Oh, look, it's another mysterious character. It is actually Yaoi. Oh, it's a clone. It's a Yaoi clone. Oh, look, it's Selen, which is just a brunette version of Yaoi. Again, it's Leiji Matsumoto. He writes good stories, but they are also bad written at the same time. You have the Yamori things. You have all those dumb reviews that doesn't reveal anything. A lot of the comedical elements that Leiji likes didn't work that quite well here. Probably because you don't have a diversity of characters to make up to the comedic sense he likes.
There was no pervy robot in the show, so that's a bonus.
True.
Correct.
Or yeah. Weird
Well, there might be.
well,
Maybe there is one in the manga. We don't know.
Oh man.
Maybe it just wasn't fucking brought up.
So yeah, because of that, yeah, a 6. I think a 6 is good. It's still a good show.
So 6, 7, 8. We're kind of all in the ballpark of each other. Not bad.
Basically, yeah.
Not bad
Like
at all.
again, I also just give it points for at least wanting to fucking try to be a little bit like the thing that kind of hit against Queen Millennia as well was that it literally just came out right after Galaxy Express. Like it just kept going after Galaxy Express ended. And I think a lot of people were a little bit disappointed in the fact that it wasn't more Galaxy Express. But I do kind of give them props for at least trying to do something different, not just being like, sure, Galaxy Express Season 2.
You could make a whole podcast
with
of
mod
just
trains.
Galaxy Express 3.9. I believe you could do that. 113 episodes or whatever. Just each episode. What was the larger narrative?
Also, just trying to do rather going from a episodic show to like, we're gonna do like a fucking we're gonna do a story now. This isn't just episodic. It's like, ooh, damn.
Yeah, now you have to watch week to week.
Short. It can be very short. Angry midget tries to kill robots.
Well,
Angry midget tries to kill robots.
Well, guys, I think that does it for us today for this episode. Nice little reminder. Hit us all up on Twitter. Go to Tori's YouTube page, Anime Top Scholar. He does some great work over there. Love his Yamato stuff.
Upload videos.
Yes, he does a lot of videos. And our next episode will be over Inuyasha, episodes 1 through 27. So get a hold of that. Watch it away. It's on a number of streaming sites. We'll see you next time.
Peace.
Goodbye.